Have you ever had a dream so realistic that you doubted if it really happened or not? If yes, what was the dream about? Not necessarily a dream. When I crashed my car into a bank while having a seizure, the paramedics who responded gave me a shot of ketamine because I was fighting off the EMTs while they were trying to extract me from my car. Later, when I woke up in the hospital, I was strapped to the bed. For a few minutes, I thought that I was actually in a mental hospital and all the memories of my life were just a delusion. It was the worst waking dream ever. Edit. I appreciate the kind responses and the giftings. Here's a link to the news story. https://www.kbtx.com/content/news/car-crashes-into-tbt-building-503507241.html. When I was stuck in my shell and suffered from social anxiety, all I wanted was to be the guy who was talkative and could make friends easily. I had dreams of dating women and hanging out with people. And when I woke up, it took a couple of seconds for reality to hit until I realized it was all fake. But the feeling and sensation I felt in the dream world felt so authentic, like a memory. I had a dream forever ago now, and I know it wasn't real, and I know dreams are just that, but I dreamt of a boat, and an elegant party. I dreamt that I snuck off to the far end of the ship to smoke when I came across a woman, dark chestnut hair, fair skin, brown eyes. I remember everything about her. I remember falling in love with her. We talked for hours on that boat, and we fell madly for each other, until I woke up, that is. I don't smoke, but something about the dream made me want to start, like it would bring me closer to her. I still don't smoke, but I often feel the pull of that memory. Months later I had a different dream. A different place, a different party, but she was still there. We never learned each other's names, but we somehow got around to referring to each other as different sets of cards. She was spades and I was diamonds. She said there was a reason why, but that she couldn't tell me yet. She never got around to telling me. I remembered her from the boat, and so did she. She said that night she felt like she was dreaming, and when I woke up, it felt like someone else, someone real, had just shared a dream with me. I still miss her, and though I know she isn't real, I still hope I find her someday. Yes, when I was 19 and weeks away from moving away from my parents for college, I had a vivid dream of the place I would live. It happened many nights in a row, and I still feel like it actually happened when I think about it. Of course, it never did. But it feels like it did. Once I dreamt I fell in love with a dude from Germany that I met in a music store. When I woke up I felt so heartbroken because in my dreams, the feelings were so intense and real. I felt like I had a glimpse of my soulmate only to realize he didn't exist. I cried for like 20 minutes before getting out bed. It really shook me. I once dreamed that my alarm rang. I was getting out of bed, making breakfast, preparing to leave the house, just to notice that I was still in bed and the only real thing was my ringing alarm. I was late that day. I once dreamt what felt like a whole life. I had another family, I grew up with them. My friends were other people, I had good times and bad times. At the end one of my sisters died in a car accident and I woke up. I remember I was so confused, and couldn't believe I had just dreamt a whole different life. I even missed some of those people for weeks afterwards. I legit had a dream it was a normal Monday in school, like it was so casual. Nothing happened. Edit. Came home from school to find 500 plus upvotes lol. When I was a kid I dreamt my mom surprised us with a Nintendo 64. I remember the sight of it in the living was clear as day. When I woke up I went downstairs eager to play for a bit before school started, but there was no Nintendo 64 with the Ocarina of Time waiting for me. I was very confused and it took a few minutes to realize it was just a dream. I can't remember most of my dreams, but one time my boyfriend woke up utterly convinced that he needed to get me some jalapenos. I am allergic. I was a young woman in World War II and my boyfriend fought on the front. We wrote letters to each other as often as we could, but lately his letters became a bit scarce. I was very anxious. A few days after liberation, a tank came driving down the road and stopped at my house. My boyfriend was sitting on the top and he jumped off, ran towards me, got on one knee and proposed. I cried and laughed at the same time. Of course I said yes. My dream mostly fits with your post. But had a dream with few friends of mine. Random things happen that I can't remember, but remember we end up getting in a police chase, then after a bit of chasing we were cornered and helicopter had spotlight on above us. Without thinking my friends said we have to kill ourselves, so they cut their own throats. I was shocked, then decided to slice my own. I could feel the blood just pour out from around my neck. Woke up immediately and felt a hot warm water pour sensation over my throat, neck around for a few seconds after I woke up. I had a dream about my mom who has passed away. I was in a truck, in the woods, and just searching for her. That was most of the dream. Then I ended up in my bathroom in my bedroom. I walked open the door and to walk out and there was my mom. She had a glow around her, she had a nervous smile on her face and didn't say anything. I stood there in shock, then screamed, "Mom," and hugged her. We both then sat on my bed. She still didn't say anything, but just smiled. She seemed so at peace, which wasn't normal for her when she was alive. We sat there for a bit and then she disappeared. That's when I woke up crying. I have had some pretty real feeling dreams before, but this one felt incredibly real. My grandmother willed her rocking chair to me, the chair she rocked me in as a child. Her rocking chair was placed near my bed so that I could easily see it from my pillow. After she died, I regularly dreamed that she was sitting in that rocking chair, keeping me company as I slept. But then we started to talk, just as if she were alive. The curious thing is that I'd ask her questions about all sorts of things we hadn't discussed back when she was alive, and she'd answer them fully and with her delightful sense of humor. Night after night this would recur. Then, sadly, one night it stopped, never to happen again, and oh, did I miss her nightly visits. Okay, mine are boring, but I used to have conversation dreams, a lot, where I'd be talking to someone and wake up when it was my turn to speak only to turn and no one was there. Most realistic was with my boyfriend at the time. I dreamed we were lying in bed talking and when I woke up to continue the conversation he wasn't there. Legit called him at 6 a.m. asking where TF he had gone so fast because I did not realize at all that he had not actually been at my house in my bed. He had instead been 2 states away at his parents' house. I swear I passed into a parallel world while asleep. I never can remember my dreams at all, but months later this is still as vivid as real life. In my dream, I woke up in an unfamiliar bedroom, but some of my own personal belongings were around. I leave the room to figure out where I am and my younger sister is out in a small living room. I say, "Hey Kate, where are we?" And she just kind of laughs and says, "Why'd you call me Kate?" After questioning and some arguing, I figure out that her name in the dream is Courtney, which is the name of my real-life older sister. My 2 older siblings didn't exist and it was just us. Our parents were divorced unlike in real life, and we were in the process of moving into an apartment together in Colorado, which is a long way from where I actually live. I became convinced my real life was the dream and I continued with my normal and rather mundane day of unpacking moving boxes. I felt really settled in after the initial uncertainty passed and I felt like I belonged. When I went to sleep at the end of the day, I closed my eyes and then I was suddenly back in my actual bedroom, sitting straight up and covered in cold sweat. I had this dream that I called one of my classmates a bitch. I apologized to her the next day IRL. She probably now thinks that I actually thought she was a bitch. Skeptical smiley face. Buzz killer. I dreamt my baby sister died and 100% believed it until she started crying from her room. Reading these, you can see why it's a good thing we usually forget our dreams. It would be so confusing to remember such strange things from every night of our lives, and not know if it's real.